Welcome to another fantastic episode of the program Expose on OneTV network. I am Florajik. On today's series, we'll talk about the challenge of the power sector in Nigeria. Of course, we know that the Nigerian sector has a different sector. We have the agricultural sector, we have the educational sector, of course, we have the economy, we have the foreign exchange. But our focus today is the power sector. Nigerian is the giant of Africa. The entity Nigeria isn't just called the giant of Africa for numbers' sake. No. Not for just the population size. Not exactly. Nigeria is called the giant of Africa because of the depth of natural resources she possesses. Their broad and solid minerals, above all. Is the giant of Africa because it's the African biggest oil producer. I'm sure this actually caused some spine. With all of these God-given wealth, the West African still struggles to meet its energy needs, a struggle that has persisted for many decades. For decades, authorities have unsuccessfully struggled to keep the power sector with at least a steady supply. Governments continue to come up with a policy to ensure the sector succeed. Still, the massive public outcry over the inefficiency of the power sector to provide electricity to Nigerians still persists since it was privatized in November 2013, with a distribution and generation subsectors split and sold to private owners. One of the aims of the split was to enhance power distribution in the country, as only the transmission component through the Transmission Company of Nigeria (TCN) remains a public property. With the privatization in 2013, one would expect an upward review and, of course, a positive outcome of the sector. But the reverse has been the case since the privatization of the sector in 2013. Fast forward to 2022, nothing has significantly changed. Talking about effectiveness and efficiency of energy supply in Nigeria. The question is why? Your answer is as good as mine. Now, recently, authorities in the country said they disbursed over $3.2 billion to support power supply to Nigerians in the last 5 years. Godwin Emefiele, who is the head of the country's Apex Bank, talking about the Central Bank of Nigeria, actually discussed this in a forum. He said, I quote, "The monies were disbursed to electricity generating and distribution companies to acquire equipment, buy meters, and improve electricity supply in the country." Yet, Nigerians have continued to battle poor power supply, with situation worsening in the last week when the country's power grid collapsed twice, causing huge blackouts across most parts of the country. It was early February 2022, Nigerians received shocking news from a radio station operating a 24-hour radio station in Lagos temporarily went off air, quite a sad one. Announcing moments before it could not sustain operations into night. Several other businesses were impacted, but this is not the first time the power grid collapsed in the nation. Over 200 million people residents. According to the cable, there were power grid collapses in February, May, July, and August of 2021, and between 2010 and 2019, there have been about 206 power collapses. If you dig further to 2022, Nigeria may have experienced about 300 blackouts. Quite shocking, you agree with me. Although Nigeria has been generating electricity in commercial quantity for over a century, the pace of electricity infrastructure development in the country is still a very slow pace, and power supply remain highly inadequate. In 2013 precisely, two segments of the Nigerian power sector were tampered with. One thought that with the privatization in 2030, the two components of the power sector, transmission and distribution, would have experienced a drastic change, talking about efficiency of the power sector. But it wasn't so. Is it affordability? It was not so. Reliability? It was the negative review. Presently, 76 million Nigerians, or 40%, if you agree, of Nigeria's population, more than twice of the population of Canada, are not connected to the national power grid. For those connected, power supply is a serious problem as about approximately 90% of the total power demanded is not supplied. Are there underlying problems? Of course, yes, there are problems. Are there numerous underlying challenges? There are. Are those problems surmountable? Of course, yes, they are. If there's willpower, if there's focus, if the amount disbursed into the sector is judiciously used. Now, here are the issues. Presently, total installed generation capacity is about 12,522 megawatts. But the average operational generation capacity is just 3,879 megawatts, of which 7.4% is lost into transmission, and up to 27.7% load is rejected at the distribution level. This leveraged Nigeria were not just about 2,519 megawatts. Yet, Nigerian electricity demand is estimated at 24,380 megawatts. As a result, Nigerians self-generated a significant portion of the electricity with highly polluting off-grid alternatives, and at a cost that is more than twice the cost of grid-based power. Slow rise from the recent recession occasioned by COVID-19, with projected gross domestic product rates trending between 4.50% and 7%. The above data complements the study by GES, which estimated electricity demand to rise by 45,490 megawatts in 2020 and a projection by 213,122 megawatts by 2040. Although the result of electricity demand studies varies widely, they conclude that the current gap between supply and demand is already very substantial, and that it will become more entrenched under a business-as-usual scenario going by the end of 2022. Some of the key challenges in the Nigerian energy sector include: 1. Infrastructure cross-stream. That's why we call this program Expose, so we could bring to your mind what you need to know, and part of which is why the electricity sector has greatly experienced a downsizing or downs cascading. Currency devaluation, unexpected infrastructure constraints that have not been accompanied by timely adjustment to tariff. We keep having the tariff system on increasing note on 3 months basis. Every 3 months, the tariff system is being reviewed. Of course, upward review, not a downward review this time around. With this review on, there are no changes, no significant changes in the electricity sector. Consumers are meant to pay high for what they don't see. Inability to reduce aggregate technical, commercial, and collection ATC and C losses. The design of the power sector reform makes the viability of the distribution company DISCOs critical to long-term sustainability of the sector. However, DISCOs are unable to recover cash shortfall on account of lack of investment in the network, rehabilitation, and metering, partly due to low tariff and inability to obtain loans from Nigerian banks due to unpaid debt. Which bank will give the sector loan? A quick review into one of the national dailies published in 2020 reveals that neighboring countries, precisely Togo, Niger, Benin Republic, did not pay their 32.4 billion naira bills for the electricity Nigeria supplied to them in 2019. Look at the figure again: 32.4 billion naira. Neighboring country Niger, Togo, Benin Republic are owing Nigeria 32.4 billion naira for electricity supply. 2019, and this is 2020. Nothing has been paid. The Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission next said, according to data collated from the NCR, the 3 countries received a total invoice of 32.4 billion naira for the electricity supply to them in 2019. The commission had earlier said the trio owed Nigeria 29.97 billion through its electricity transmission company. Inconsistent enforcement of rules and policies of the aforementioned. While multilateral initiative of the World Bank and Power Africa, as well as Nigerian government and private sector, are making efforts to address the key challenges in the Nigerian electricity supply industry, the efforts are slow-paced and insufficient. For instance, the government has inaugurated several projects aimed at expanding thermal and hydro sources, as well as extended two intervention facility to GENSCO and DISCO to ease their financial constraint. But what is the result? And most importantly, if the sector must be efficient and proficient, we must cut down on waste. Power waste. Power waste. This has to do with Nigerian culture, Nigerian attitudes towards power waste must be looked into. The culture of keeping electrical appliances on when not in use is another real terms that must be stopped. An attitude that must be looked into urgently. And it begins from the shipping process, from the borderlines. Equipment that consume high voltage, that need high power, should not be shipped into the countries. Authorities should look into these aspects. It is very important. We are in a jet age. There is need for power to be consumed, power to be minimized. And this should begin by machines, equipment, appliances that consume high voltage should be dumped. Like someone had said earlier, Nigeria is not like a dump site for machines, equipment not being used outside the shores of the country. They not see Nigeria as a place where they dump these machines. Worst of all, even when these equipment are not in use, they are being put on. Power wastage must be looked into. This is not the effort of the government. This requires your efforts. You watching. It is your efforts that will cut power wastage. It's not the effort of the government. It's not the effort of the distribution company or the transmission company or the generating company. No, it is your effort as the consumer. Avoid waste. And that includes power. Expose is meant to expose you to things you should know, but is being concealed from you. I'm sure you know this today. So when we talk about power generation in Nigeria, it's a collective effort. Everybody has a role to play. That includes you. We're hoping to see the needed change we need in our society. And many thanks for watching. I am Flora Duke. This is Exposing on OneTV network. Bye for now. But before then, like, share, and comment. We want to hear from you. Click on the like button, click on the share button, and drop your comments at the comment button. Thanks for watching Expose on the OneTV network. Bye for now.